Hey everybody, this is Dr. Maples. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to have a bit of a difficult conversation as I guide you through step by step how you drop out of college. Now up front, this video is not here to try to convince you that you should or should not drop out of college. That's a decision that you can make, and you're welcome to ask me questions and I can give you my suggestions. My job today is to be an advisor. I need to, without judgment, tell you exactly how the drop out of college process works, give you a step by step sense of how this is going to happen, and also let you know about some of the problems that can often happen because of dropping out of college. However, we can fix those along the way. I also, from experience, know that students arrive at this decision in various states of emotional distress. Some students are fully aware of the situation and able to wait out to the end of the semester and finish things perfectly, while in other cases, I've just had to get students to their car so they can get to a safe place and start their life over. I'm not sure where you are, so you're going to have to pick the right path for you. But I've got three options. The first one being the easiest, the last one requiring the most work. You pick which path works for you. Now, along the way, if you got questions, you know where to find me. Leave them in the comments below because honestly, I love answering your questions. It's one of my favorite things when I get comments on a video. But we got to get this video started so we can get some comments. We got a lot to do today. So, what do you say we get started? On a couple of occasions, students have come by my office in tears and they sit down and they say, Dr. Maples, I'm dropping out of college and I've just got to get out of here. What do I need to do? And if you're at that space that like you are not prepared right now to handle further steps, know this. You can drop out of college just by getting in your car and driving home, driving to a safe space, and just never coming back. I know, that's surprising, right? Dropping out is not a formal process. By no longer attending the university and by not registering for future classes, the university gets the situation and they say, okay, this person has dropped out. You'll probably actually never even hear from them unless they have an amazing retention program and they might give you a phone call or an email. But if you just stop attending and go home, yeah, that is effectively dropping out. It's not perfect. There's some problems with this one. In fact, this creates some problems for future you that we can address in some later steps that I'll talk about. But if you just need to leave, that's okay. These are the future you problems that you need to think about. First one is that all the classes you're currently enrolled in for the semester are going to end up as Fs. There may be some random case where you get a D because there was only like 3 weeks left in the semester when you dropped out. But by and far, if you drop out of college and stop attending, you're just going to get Fs in your classes. You're not automatically withdrawn from them. If you just stop attending, you get Fs. That may be okay if you don't plan on coming back to college, but you need to understand that's something that future you will have to deal with. The next one's a little worse because universities of late have actually started automatically re-enrolling students for future semesters, particularly in their first year for like first year students. This is a frustrating one because you technically, ideally, would want to make sure they haven't already registered you for your next semester. And if you just drive away and don't check this, this could be a problem for future you. But we'll talk about that in just a moment and make sure you get that fixed. By the way, universities, totally unethical that you're doing that, but you didn't ask me about it. If you have student loans, they can go into repayment in about 6 months. This is a situation where, again, you may just have to be aware that this is a future you problem if you're not able to deal with it just yet. Also, if you're in a situation where you're renting a space for a full year rather than a semester, or maybe you're in a situation that you have some kind of lease for where you're living, you're probably going to have to deal with that. If you just leave, that contract doesn't expire. It may continue, likely will continue, and so you're going to have to deal with that in the future. Now, I say all these things because we're going to teach you how to deal with these in step 2, or option 2 rather. But for option 1, if your emotional well-being is such that you just need to leave, do that. Get to a safe space, figure out what comes next, and start your life anew. These are future you problems that are not huge issues. We can overcome them. Now, if you're in a space that you feel like you could stick around for, say, a couple more days or an extra week on campus, look at option 2 because it actually will address a lot of these future you problems and make things a little easier as you depart from the university. You sit down in my office, you are sad and crying, but you've got your stuff together good enough to stick around for a week or so to address some of these last issues of withdrawing. We can do a more formal withdrawal from the university dropping out. Now, there's a couple of things that I'd love for you to do if you can wait just a little bit longer before you drop out. The first one is take a moment, get online with your university system, withdraw from all of your classes. If you're dropping out, you can formally withdraw from all of those classes without an issue. Note you may have to get an advisor's approval or call someone in student services, but you can withdraw from all of your classes. This has the advantage that depending on when the semester is in its, timeline, you might get a little bit of tuition money back if it's early, and you could actually even get W's for withdrawing from these classes rather than F's. By the way, I've got a really popular video up on withdrawals that you can always check out if you're curious and ask questions in the comments below. If you have the emotional stability to do it, withdraw from those classes as part of dropping out. Second, contact your student services department and let them know that you're withdrawing from the university. See if there's anything formal that they would like. See if they can help you withdrawing from those classes. And also call your student loan provider and or scholarship providers if you have those. Now with the student loan providers, you might want to talk to them about when your loans will have to start being repaid if you have any. You may want to ask about forbearance to delay paying back those loans. You may also want to see what forgiveness programs might be available to you since you did not complete your degree. If you have scholarships, it's usually just good to send them an email to let them know that, hey, you won't need this scholarship in the future because you're dropping out of college, and then they can give that to someone else. It also saves them a lot of tax paperwork, I'm told. It's good if you are in a dorm or an apartment that you let people know. In a dorm, you're probably doing a semester to semester lease, so you can basically figure out what you're going to owe for the rest of the semester for your dorm and move on. If you happen to have utilities, you can also get those turned off so you don't get future U bills that you weren't expecting. If you're renting an apartment or a house, you're probably in a year-long lease, and so you are going to have to talk to them about what's going to happen for the rest of the lease. Sometimes the people will just let you out of the lease because they're really nice. Most of the time, they probably won't. So that's something that you're going to have to figure out as a future you problem. But we're taking care of getting you out of the university, and you just need to be aware that this is a problem that you might have. Also, going back to something I mentioned on the previous slide, you need to get into the online system and make sure your university did not auto enroll you for classes in the upcoming semester. This generally happens for first year students. So if you're a freshman, fresh person, as I like to say, then go in there, make sure that they haven't done this. But some universities are doing this for everyone. They assume what classes you need, they put you in there as a retention tool, and I think it's totally immoral and wrong. But again, they didn't ask me about that, and you're the one that has to deal with that. If they do have you enrolled for a future semester, simply withdraw from all of your classes and you'll be good to go. Make sure you've withdrawn from everything and you don't have any future bills to deal with. And then you can hop in your car, give the university both middle fingers as you drive away with some amazing music playing on the radio. Now, if you can stay a little longer, say to like the end of the semester, we could actually do this a little more perfectly so that everything wraps up still just exactly as it needs to. And if you like, you can still drive away with both middle fingers raised and even cooler music because you'll have a little more time to pick out the right leaving campus song. So let's talk about that third path. All right, you come to Dr. Maples' office, probably not in tears, just ready to leave. And you say, Dr. Maples, I've decided college is not my path and I'm going to go do something else. I'm ready to drop out. Can you give me the best advice on how to drop out the most effective way? My advice is actually going to be to wait until the very end of that semester. A couple of reasons. First off, if there's any possible chance of passing your classes, I'd like to get credit for those. Have a chat with your professors, see where you are, let them know that you're dropping out, and find out what things look like for the rest of the semester. See what you need to do to get a C or better grade, a C for see you later, as I like to call it, or even a D for done if that works for you and your university will count that as a passing grade, which a lot of them will. Some major exceptions to that, feel free to ask your student resources folks or ask in the comments below. Make sure you cancel your future semester. If you got anything scheduled for the future, make sure you've withdrawn from all of those classes so you don't have any future bills. As I mentioned on the previous step, you need to let your student loan folks and your scholarship folks know. You can also pack up your dorm, take the time to leave in an ideal situation. If you're in an apartment, this also gives you a little more time to live out that lease, or maybe even work with the person to say, hey, I'm leaving at the end of the semester. Would you let me break my lease 2 months early rather than like 7 months early? This also gives you a chance to do some downsizing. I think this is a really good one because if you're not coming back to college, I think you should go ahead and sell all those textbooks that you might still have around. Remember, at the end of the semester, universities will almost always open up a time in which you can sell back your books for ridiculously low prices. Some really great advice, though. First off, get a copy of your transcript. Go to Student Services, let them know that you need an unofficial copy of your transcript. 9 times out of 10, they can give you an unofficial copy for free. Why do I keep saying unofficial? Well, it's because the official version copy, it's basically like 40, 50, sometimes more bucks, and they send it directly to the person that you ask them to send it to. They don't give it to you. An unofficial copy can be a list of your classes that you've completed with their grades and so forth, as well as your information from high school, which, believe me, you'll forget that. Anyways, get a copy of your transcript because as you work with future employers, they may say, well, hey, like you don't have a college degree, but what college classes did you take? And an unofficial transcript in that situation is going to be perfectly fine. It's going to let them know what you have taken and you'll be good to go. They don't need an official one for that. In fact, you'll find that most employers never need an official one, but having that unofficial copy is going to be super, super handy for you because you got a record of what you did while you were there, even if you may want to forget about what it was. Another thing that you should do, and this one is mildly unethical, is that even though you're leaving the university, you should fully take advantage of their resume services and their career services. Find the career services people on campus, get them to design a resume, help them out with that, get a good resume, get a good headshot that you can get onto LinkedIn or whatever social media that you need. If nothing else, you got a photo. Remember the moment that you left college, right? But take advantage of any of the resources they have. You don't necessarily have to tell them that you're dropping out of college. In fact, this is where you could say, hey, I really need a job. Can you help me find a job? And 9 times out of 10, career services aren't going to find out that you're leaving campus, and they will help you find a job, sometimes even one on campus, which may be awkward since you're dropping out, but a job is a job. A port is a port in any storm. And at this point, you can last until the end of the semester, and as you wrap up whatever those last couple of days look back, you know that you have finished this as optimally as you can. You've done everything that you need to for leaving. And then leave knowing that you made the decision that was right for you at this moment in time. Your family, your professors, the people around you, your high school guidance counselors may not want me to say this, but college isn't everybody's path, and that's okay. There are so many options out there. College does not have to be the singular end all be all to solving your problems. In fact, I know many a college graduate, myself sometimes included, who picked college degrees that probably weren't the best fit for the things that they really wanted to do at the end of the day. So it's okay to look at different paths. It's okay to step away from college. If you need to drop out for a period of time or forever, it's perfectly fine. And if you do change your mind that you want to come back, college will be there. But step away from some of these preconceptions and concerns about leaving college. Instead, focus on your well being. Focus on yourself and finding the right path that is right for you at this point in your life. And if you're like me and many points in my life, you may actually not know which path is the right one. And so, in that situation, maybe you need to think about what Queen Anna has told us. The best advice ever is just do the next right thing. Sometimes that's all you can do. And it's good advice. In fact, we'll talk more about that advice in a future video. But that's all for now. If you have questions about dropping out of the university, don't fret. No judgment. Leave them in the comments below. Dr. Maples is here to help you. If you could subscribe to this channel before you go, that would be helpful. If you'd also share this with your friends and colleagues to let them know this channel is out there, I'd appreciate it because we're growing, and that's all because of the support of viewers like you. Thank you. I think I stole that from PBS. That's all for today. I'll see you later. Take care.